Now that we've gone apple picking and it's been super crisp outside and the leaves are changing, it's the perfect time to make some apple cider donuts. I've been so excited, and I made so many apple cider donuts working at the donut shop, but they never quite tasted super apple-like. So I saw a video of Claire Saffitz making it with apple butter, and so that's what I'm gonna try today. And I hope it'll be super appley and delicious. I'm meeting my family later at Letchworth, so I think it'll be the perfect place to taste test the donuts, so I need to make these really quick. So I'm gonna start with some all-purpose flour. I need like 3.5 cups. And make sure it's really loose in there. You don't want it packed. So kind of just tap it off. And then I need some cinnamon. I'm just gonna do a sprinkle of some cloves because why not? And then nutmeg, it's like 1/4 teaspoon. We're just gonna do a little sprinkle of some allspice too. Okay, and then I need my baking powder and baking soda. I need a teaspoon of salt. I don't usually sift my dry ingredients. You just take a whisk and whisk it all up to make sure it's really incorporated and there's no chunks of baking powder in there, because if you get a chunk of baking powder or baking soda in your donut, it's not a nice taste. Very bitter. There we go. Now we're gonna do our wet ingredients. I did 2 cups of apple cider and I reduced it to 1/2 cup. So it's nice and strong and be super flavorful. Now I have some sour cream. So this whole cup is 1 cup, so I'm just gonna do half of it. Good thing about getting a 8-ounce container. You can kind of eyeball 1/2 cup. And then I have my apple butter that I made. So I just bought some applesauce and I cooked it down with some more spices until it was super thick and there's not a lot of like water left in there. So that's perfect, that's what you want. So we have our apple cider, our sour cream, and our apple butter all mixed together for this delicious mixture. Actually doesn't look too bad. And now I need 4 tablespoons of melted butter. Perfect. I need 1/4 cup of brown sugar. Always pack your brown sugar. 1/2 cup of regular sugar. I'm gonna add my 2 eggs. We're gonna mix this together until it's really light and fluffy. Okay, now that this is super light and airy, I'm gonna stream in our melted butter so it'll emulsify in there. Wow, that looks so good. It's nice and thick and fully incorporated now. I'm gonna switch to my paddle now. Now I'm gonna add half of my wet ingredients and then add half the dry ingredients so it'll incorporate evenly. I'm gonna kind of mix it just until it's combined. Okay, add the rest of this. I also want to add a little vanilla, just like 2 teaspoons worth. And I'm gonna add the rest of my dry ingredients. Okay, now again, we're just gonna mix this until combined. Perfect. It's gonna be a pretty like sticky dough. So that's why we're gonna spread it on a sheet tray and put it in the fridge for at least a half hour. Kind of in a rush because I'm trying to make it to Letchworth and I only have an hour. So let's see if I can make these within an hour. I got my sheet tray. I have this fun apple colored silk pat and my bowl scraper. I'm just gonna scrape all this out on here to put it in the fridge. I'll put a little bit of flour down and evenly sprinkle that. This is gonna be very sticky, but extra fun. I'm so excited about these donuts. I love apple cider donuts. When I worked in the donut shop, whenever it was time to make the fall flavors, it was like our favorite time of the year because they're just like the best. And of course, these were the ones that would sell out first. But having a fresh hot apple cider out of the fryer at 3 in the morning is like the actual best thing ever. About the thickness that I'm gonna want it is how I'm gonna press it down. And since there's baking powder in these, they're really gonna like poof up. So it doesn't need to be like too thick, but don't want them to be too thin and like dry. About like the width of my finger is what we used to always say. That's perfect. Make sure it's as even as possible too. Okay, I think that looks good. Here we go. So while I'm waiting for my oil to heat up, I'm going to make my cinnamon sugar mixture. So I'm just gonna do some sugar, enough to toss them in. And then I'm gonna do a bunch of fun spices because that's what I like to do. I'm gonna add the rest of my cinnamon I have here. And then maybe I'll just do like a little nutmeg, just like a little sprinkle. And maybe a tiny sprinkle of allspice. Allspice is so good and appley. Okay, so I'll mix that all together. We'll be ready to toss them in while they're hot. Okay, this is perfect and nice and cold. I have this cutter for cake donuts. I think it's better because the other one is just a little too big. So this is like a perfect size. I'm gonna score the top of it too so that it will cook evenly on the inside. Let me get a little flour to dust my cutter in. Perfect. Here we go. I'm just gonna flour like the surface too to set them on. Okay. My oil is at 230. I need it to be at 325 at least. So, got a little bit of time. So any sticky parts, I'm just tapping some flour onto. So it'll stay together. So that gave me 9. I'll definitely be able to get a dozen out of this. I'll just set all these right on here. Now I'm just gonna mix all this back up together and do the same thing, except it's already cold, so I don't need to put it back in the fridge. I'm just gonna try to get it a little more floured. But I don't wanna overwork it because I still want these to be like light, you know, and not dense. And still the same width as my finger. Flour. Oh, I forgot to score it. Perfect. Maybe I can get one more. 9, 12, I got 12. I'm gonna try to get one more out of this, or 2 more. These ones are gonna be really scrappy like. Not the best, but they'll still taste good. I got 13, my lucky number. Now that my oil's all heated up, I'm gonna switch over to the fry cam and we're gonna start frying. They're gonna sink at first, and then once the baking powder activates, it'll float up to the top. As soon as those edges start to get a little brown, I'll flip it and little chopsticks. Oh my god, these look so good. So excited. Okay, I think those look perfect. Oh, they're so light and fluffy. Okay, now I think I know I can fit at least 3 in there. And this little donut hole. Me. Okay, now I'm gonna toss these in the sugar while they're still warm. I think also having the sugar nice and spiced like that is really gonna add even an extra apple cider flavor. Anyone that doesn't like apple cider donuts is lying to you. These are also so quick and easy to make, honestly. I started them an hour and a half ago. And a perfect dozen donuts. There you go. I'd really like to try these now, but I can think of a better place. So I came to Letchworth State Park, the most beautiful park. It's peak season, all the leaves are changing, it's so crisp. It's just the perfect place to try your donut. Let's see how it is. Oh, so good. So much cinnamon. I can taste the apple butter and all the spices, and it's just so perfect. I love it. Thank you so much for watching this video on my apple cider donuts, and I hope you'll make them too and bring them to Letchworth. Let's go hike.